We are back with another FPL video discussing the Game Week 10 team selection. I'll also be recapping on how I did in Game Week 9 and my transfer plans. I am considering a -4 hit, but I'll also show you my original transfers that I was considering in the previous team selection videos as well. Nothing is finalized, and you'll see my final team in the deadline stream, and channel members and patrons will see my team as early as possible as soon as I make the moves, but there is still a lot to consider, as you'll see in this video. If you end up enjoying it, smash the like button and subscribe for new. Our aim is to get this video to over 200 likes, and we're getting ever closer towards 22,000 subscribers and beyond. But without further ado, let's jump straight into this video. The defensive line was very poor this week. Turner was on course for a clean sheet. Nottingham Forest were leading 2-0, and in the last 10-15 minutes, they can see 2 goals to Luton Town, and Turner's 6-pointer turns into just 1 solitary point. So it was a big shame, but then again, as I keep on saying in all my videos, it is Nottingham Forest, and you can't really trust them defensively. Turner's a decent option at that price and below, and with Areola conceding so many goals, starting Turner over Areola wasn't really a big mistake, and in the weeks to come, with West Ham's fixtures looking really promising, Areola will be the starting goalkeeper on most occasions. So a bit disappointed with Turner. At least he kept the clean sheet against Crystal Palace in Game Week 8. You have to look at the positives, but in the future, I don't see Turner having a valid case to start in my team. The defence was also poor. The defensive line in general, like I said, was pretty underwhelming. Matty Cash with a 2-pointer. West Ham scored through Jarrod Bowen, and that didn't stop Aston Villa scoring 4 past the Hammers, but Matty Cash wasn't involved whatsoever, so that was a bit of a shame. But at least Dan Burn kept the clean sheet, and I think most of us anticipated that clean sheet for Newcastle. It was a bit disappointing from my perspective, though, because despite having Burn, I don't have Kieran Trippier, who got a 10-pointer, and had Lascelles on the bench, and Udogie was subbed out just 4 or 5 minutes before the 60th minute mark, so he missed out on the clean sheet points and also the second appearance point. So that 6-pointer was yet another 1-pointer there in my defensive line, and that was a big shame as well, with Lascelles first on my bench with a 6-pointer as well. So that was very disappointing in general. Dan Burn, the only one with some form of returns there. Udogie was so close to notching it himself, and he felt something at half-time. Postecoglou said he would give him 10-15 minutes more and see how it developed. If they got the second goal, then he would take him out as a precaution, and that's what ended up happening. So maybe if Spurs had scored that second goal a bit later on, Udogie could have saved the clean sheet points and it would have been even better. But it is what it is. A lot of us have Udogie. Those that had Pedro Porro had a huge advantage, Christian Romero as well, and any other Spurs defenders. But overall, my defensive line was very disappointing. The midfield was much better, but Diaby was one of the few that blanked. So a 2-pointer, despite Aston Villa scoring 4. That is very frustrating because literally I have 2 Aston Villa assets here in Cash and Diaby, and neither of them produced any returns whatsoever, despite Aston Villa flying, and that's 11 consecutive home victories in a row, and Arsenal have the exact same number of points as Aston Villa in 2023, with only Man City having more. So he's done a terrific job since joining them in December last year, and they are a serious proposition, I think, and they could challenge for the top 4. We go to the other midfielders. James Ward-Prowse, another one who blanked. And of course, bringing him in Game Week 8, I knew the fixtures weren't that great in Game Weeks 8 and 9, but James Ward-Prowse is now playing a deeper role in the last couple of games, and that's very worrying for me, and I would even consider selling him. He is probably one of the first names on the chopping block, even over Diaby. The only thing that could save him, though, is that West Ham's fixtures from Game Week 10 onwards are fantastic, and he is still a decent option on paper with his set-piece delivery and ability, but I am very concerned if James Ward-Prowse continues to play in a deeper role, because you're really relying on set pieces for any form of returns. The same can definitely not be said about the other 3 midfielders, including Salah, who got yet another massive return. And to be honest, despite being a Salah owner, I genuinely think that certain things landed in our favour, and of course if you captain him, fair play as well. But with Everton getting a red card and Liverpool getting away with one, with Konate, the penalty, which to be fair was a penalty, but there were a few things that went in Liverpool's favour there in that match, which helped Salah to deliver that massive return towards the end. It was looking like another blank from a popular captaincy option in the early kickoff, But in the end, quality prevailed, and Mohamed Salah is the best FPL option at the moment. The next two midfielders played in the Monday night kickoff, and James Maddison got his first goal at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and his first goal contribution in a home match this season. So he has been absolutely fantastic so far, probably the signing of the summer up until now, and he has made a huge difference to Spurs in terms of creativity. Everything goes through him, and that's also helped his partner in crime, Heung-min Son, who delivered 14 points. He got his first assist of the season, and also he added a goal on top of that. So amazing stuff there from the Spurs midfielders and also Salah. And of course, Diaby and Ward-Prowse were very disappointing, and I was very close to doing Ward-Prowse to Gordon in the deadline stream, but now I have 2 free transfers in Game Week 10, which I'll get onto very soon. But let's now talk about the forwards and the captaincy. After owning him for 7 out of the 9 game weeks so far this season, Ollie Watkins finally scored his first goal whilst in my FPL team, and he has been so consistent. Only 1 blank in this campaign so far, and he has some of the best fixtures coming up, and it's only until game week 15 when the fixtures really start to turn for Aston Villa negatively. That's when you start to look to sell these Aston Villa assets, but Ollie Watkins for me is arguably a season keeper even when the fixtures get tough. He's the only Aston Villa asset I would genuinely consider keeping when the going gets tough there. He got 11 points against West Ham, a solid team by the way if you look at what they've been doing in this campaign, but Ollie Watkins is doing it against absolutely everybody, and with Luton Town at home next, he is a genuine consideration for the captaincy as well. And the last player, of course, is Erling Haaland. He scored from outside the box, got an 8-pointer, so a decent return from him. And Salah captain has gained 8 points over those that went for Haaland, but still a decent return for both of them, of course. And I think Erling Haaland is going to go ballistic in the next couple of weeks, especially in Game Week 11 when he faces Bournemouth at home. And I wouldn't rule out a goal or 2 against Manchester United as well over the weekend. So let's now head over to the captaincy and talk about my ranks and how things are looking heading into Game Week 10. I scored 80 points in Game Week 9, my second highest total so far this season, with Game Week 1 being my best. I was around 200k at the time, ever since it has been red arrow after red arrow, but I played my wildcard in Game Week 8, and that's now 2 consecutive green arrows on the bounce, so a bit of progress. I have gone from around 3.2 million to 1.9 million in the space of 2 weeks. Not amazing, but still decent progress, and I'm hoping to break into the top million by the time we get to Game Week 11, and I've got 532 points overall, so it has been a poor start to the season, but one of the few odd weeks so far where I've done well in both FPL and UCL Fantasy. Be sure to join the league, you can see it there, and also in the description below there's an auto join link. I captain Haaland, I went for Salah Vice. I think the early kickoff did put me off the Egyptian, and now that he's going to be the most popular captaincy option in Game Week 10, I would not be surprised if he ended up blanking there against Nottingham Forest, but we're going to be discussing that in terms of the best captaincy options in Game Week 10, where it's a bit clearer, I say, compared to Game Week 9 where we had 4 to 5 genuine great captaincy options on paper, and most of them pretty much delivered. Trippier, Heung-min Son, Salah, Haaland, and probably a few more that you can name as well. But there's a lot to discuss now. I am considering a -4 hit heading into Game Week 10. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below about what I should do with my team, and I'll also discuss the alternatives where instead of taking a -4 hit, I'll just be using 2 free transfers. As discussed earlier, my goalkeeper situation is quite clear from now on. Areola is the clear standout to start in Game Week 10 at home to Everton, whilst Turner faces Liverpool away, and I'm not expecting absolutely anything there from the American. So Areola is the very simple choice, one of the easiest decisions I have to make in Game Week 10. Things will get much more difficult as we progress throughout the team, but overall, I'm very happy with Areola in goal. I'm also quite optimistic about the defensive line this week with Matty Cash at home to Luton Town. That is a great opportunity for a clean sheet and possibly an attacking return on top of it. It could be a monstrous haul from Matty Cash, which he's certainly capable of delivering. I haven't experienced it yet whilst he's in my team, but I'm hoping for much better this time round. 2 blanks in a row, and now I think it's a great chance for him to make things right and do extremely well against Luton Town at home. I also have a Newcastle defender here in Dan Burn away to Wolves, and I've also got Lascelles, who could make it into the starting 11. Joachim Andersen is in my current team, but he could be sold in order to fund other moves in the midfield and forward line. So there's a lot to consider here with the defence, because I've got some really good options anyway, but I could bolster it even further with a -4 hit, sell Joachim Andersen to one of the hottest properties at the moment in Tsimikas for a -4 hit, and he does face Nottingham Forest at home. And actually, when I look at it, I do think Nottingham Forest can score. I just expect Liverpool to win and score 2 or 3 goals at the very least. So it's an interesting one. But with Tsimikas, he has some attacking potential and he's got a decent number of assists per starts in the last couple of seasons. And this is really a move for the next 10 weeks or so whilst Robertson is out. There is the possibility of Endo or Joe Gomez playing at left back from time to time, and it is a risky pick in general, but his ownership is low. He's got some really good fixtures. I would back Liverpool to keep some clean sheets over the next few weeks. So Tsimikas could come in for Joachim Andersen, and this would mainly be to fund moves in the midfield. There is a lot of discussion about whether we should sell Diaby to Douglas Luiz. I wouldn't make such a move. I don't think Douglas Luiz is a bad option. Certainly not. He can score from long range. He's on penalties. He's got 7 goals in his last 6 home games. He's an absolute beast at the moment at Villa Park. But Diaby has some fantastic fixtures coming up, and I think those games could suit Diaby more than a Douglas Luiz, and I would not be surprised if Diaby outscored Watkins in some of the fixtures coming up. I genuinely believe he is going to be a great option for the next 3 to 5 game weeks. Afterwards, he would be a sell, but for the time being, there is no way I'm going to be selling him. He is an easy hold for me. And next up could be another signing of Jarrod Bowen in for James Ward-Prowse, and it might seem a bit sideways, and to do that for a -4 hit maybe doesn't make too much sense. But if Ward-Prowse is playing deeper whilst Jarrod Bowen is getting the bulk of the big chances, I think it's just a clear winner there, and Jarrod Bowen will outscore Ward-Prowse by 4 points or more over the next 5 to 10 game weeks. So I would be very happy with such a switch, and if I had enough funds in the first place, I would have brought Jarrod Bowen in. So he does come in at the moment, and I think he would bolster my midfield and take it to another level, and I definitely need it over the upcoming period. Mohamed Salah is a very easy keep. We all know this, of course, and he is a genuine consideration for the captaincy. 2 double-digit returns in a row. You would be expecting a bit of a drop-off now against Nottingham Forest, but the fixture is there, Salah is in form, and Liverpool are looking really strong, especially at Anfield, which, to be honest, is kind of a historical thing for them. So Salah is very easy there. And next up is James Maddison against Crystal Palace away. I'd still want to keep one Spurs player over the next 5 to 10 game weeks, despite some tough games coming up like Aston Villa, Man City and Chelsea. And of course, I had that double up of Maddison and Heung-min Son, and I'm not ruling out keeping Son in the end, but in order to fund Tsimikas and Jarrod Bowen and take that -4 hit, I would have to downgrade Son to Bukayo Saka, who faces Sheffield United at home and has better fixtures over the next 5 game weeks. So that could be a really good move in general, a very popular one in Game Week 10. After Son's monstrous haul in Game Week 9, it will make things more difficult for people if you were kind of set on making that move beforehand, and now you might be having some second doubts. That's completely understandable, but I already have Maddison. I want to go away from triple Spurs with the fixtures coming up, and I also want to bring in some Arsenal coverage as they face Sheffield United and Burnley at home in the next 3 game weeks. The forward line is going to be unchanged yet again. Ollie Watkins faces Luton Town at home. He is probably my top 3 for the captaincy options this week. And of course, it might seem a bit strange to say that, but Watkins has been probably one of the best players in the Premier League since Unai Emery has taken over. Only Salah and Haaland have more goal contributions in that time. And in 2023, only Salah has more goals, so you can just see how crazy Ollie Watkins has been, and he offers insane value even at 8.1, 8.2 million. I've lost count. He's going to keep on going up in price, and even when the fixtures turn for Aston Villa, I think he is worth holding on to. But of course, things can change from now until Game Week 15. Maybe he loses a bit of form. Aston Villa look a bit shaky, but if they continue at this pace, I definitely wouldn't have any thoughts about selling Ollie Watkins unless you're going to Julian Alvarez, and that would be completely understandable when Man City embark on a great fixture run from Game Week 16 onwards. The last forward is Erling Haaland facing Man United away, the Manchester derby, and Manchester United are on the back of 3 consecutive wins across all competitions, and Erling Haaland scored a brace in the Champions League against Young Boys. He started off with a penalty and then scored towards the very end of that match as well with an assist by Rodri. So I'm very happy with this front two. Even the midfield 5 looks very solid. I've got some good squad depth too. I've got the likes of Lascelles on the bench. I'll discuss that in the next section coming up. And also the captaincy, which will be yet again another hot topic. The bench would be as follows: Turner in goal, Udogie, Lascelles and Cameron Archer. And Udogie is facing Crystal Palace away, who look fairly toothless. They also have a poor record against Tottenham Hotspur historically, but I still think Crystal Palace can get a goal here. And Lascelles is a good option against Wolves away, but who would I start him over? Maybe Tsimikas, but in order to justify that -4 hit even further, and also to bring in more Liverpool coverage, I might just start Tsimikas in the end. Assuming, of course, I go ahead with this -4 hit, because as I said towards the beginning of this video, this is not locked in. This is one set of transfer plans. I'll show the other one very shortly using fpl.team, but let's discuss the captaincy. I'm fairly settled on it, although I might go a bit different this week, but Mohamed Salah is my captain at the moment, facing Nottingham Forest at home, and my vice-captain is Bukayo Saka, but another consideration I'm making is Ollie Watkins at home to Luton. I could genuinely go there instead of Saka for the vice-captain, and who knows, maybe in the deadline stream I have a gut feeling and decide to go with Ollie Watkins as my definitive captain. I don't think I'd captain Bowen, Erling Haaland, Maddison or Diaby, and definitely not any of the defenders. Matty Cash would be the only consideration there. So for me, the captaincy is between Salah, Saka and Ollie Watkins this week, and as things stand, I'm going for the Egyptian King. Let's discuss what the algorithm suggests. So Drafthound are saying Son to Saka and Joachim Andersen to White are the recommended moves for my team this week. Other than that, they say Son to Saka and Burn to White. And the third suggestion is Son to Saka and Maddison to Odegaard. I don't agree with the third one. I think the second one isn't too bad either, but the top suggestion is actually fairly good. Both of them would be upgrades, but I think Saka in for Son is the only move I'd be considering from those they suggest. They also put Salah as the captain, Haaland as the vice, and my bench order to be Turner, Lascelles, Anderson and Archer. But remember, this is without the transfers made that I discussed in the team selection portion of this video. They also have the assistant manager tool. They have the player rankings and also the fixture ticker, which you can sort out by chance of scoring over 2+ goals or chances of a clean sheet. And at the moment, Arsenal, Man City and Man United are in the top 3. Brighton and Liverpool complete the top 5 there. And in terms of clean sheets, it does change a little bit, but Arsenal remain top and Man United are second in terms of clean sheet chances over the next 5 game weeks. But I definitely encourage you to take a look. There is a link in the description below for Drafthound. They expect me to score 72.8 points. I'd be very happy if that was my score this week, but of course you can always go for more, and if I can get to 80+ yet again, it could be yet another green arrow and significant progress on my wildcard. With the moves discussed throughout this video, bringing Tsimikas, Jarrod Bowen and Bukayo Saka in for Joachim Andersen, James Ward-Prowse and Heung-min Son, it would be 68.2 expected points according to fpl.team. I would be taking a -4 hit and I have 0.1 million left in the bank. Let me know if you like these moves. And if we look ahead to Game Week 11, I would have Areola in goal, a back 3 of Udogie, Tsimikas and Matty Cash, a midfield 5 of Salah, Saka, Maddison, Bowen and Diaby, and a front 2 of Haaland and Ollie Watkins. And my bench would be Burn, Lascelles and Archer, with the Newcastle duo facing Arsenal, and Turner would be my bench facing Aston Villa. But that team would look fairly good. The expected points in Game Week 11 would be 63.3. But if we look at the other set of moves, which I've discussed in the last couple of team selection videos, I could bring in Gabriel and Saka for Lascelles and Heung-min Son, and I'd have 0.1 million in the bank as well. And the expected points is even higher at 68.6. The other one would be 68.2. So if you prefer these set of moves, then let me know down in the comment section below. I would have Udogie, Anderson and Archer on my bench in Game Week 10. Turner, of course, facing Liverpool away as well. And in Game Week 11, I would have this sort of structure with Areola, Udogie, Anderson, Cash. The same midfield 5 really, except Ward-Prowse instead of Jarrod Bowen, and a front 2 of Haaland and Ollie Watkins. The bench is also fairly good. I'd probably have Gabriel first sub instead of Dan Burn, but that doesn't really matter. And the expected points is yet again higher in Game Week 11 with these set of moves of Gabriel and Saka in instead of the -4 hit. So not a big difference between both teams and the expected points figures, but the algorithm does favour getting Saka and Gabriel in instead of taking that -4 hit. But the reason why I might end up doing it is because I bring in Tsimikas, more Liverpool coverage, and Jarrod Bowen in for James Ward-Prowse, which I see as a huge upgrade. So let me know if you think that -4 hit is worth it down in the comment section below, or should I stick to 2 free transfers. And if you have any situations yourself and maybe something you want to discuss in the comment section, then leave it there. And of course, in the deadline stream on Friday, be sure not to miss it. And thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it or found it useful, then be sure to smash the like button and subscribe if you're new. Our aim is to get this video to the 200 likes and to keep on pushing towards 22,000 subscribers and beyond. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, DylanRCM, and check all the links in the description below for the Patreon, Championships Discord server, and the FPL League. As a member or patron, you can get early access to my videos and also to all my team reveals as soon as I make the transfers, and you also can be featured on the front page of my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for all your support. It's massively appreciated as always, and I'll see you next time.